सारी रात जागी ना सोई वे तेरी मोहब्बत सताया वे सारी रात जागी ना सोई वे
Hi there, we're the Solace family, and these are moments from around the world trip with our two kids. We first started in South America, made our way to North America, and now we're in Asia.
We started in China, flew over to Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, and are now transitioning to the island nation of Sri Lanka. Final moments in Krabi, just getting ready to go to the airport now. Shoe time. Say bye-bye, Krabi. Bye-bye, Krabby. Do you have the key for me to give back, Martine? First time in history that we return the key?
Please take it from me.
Airport time! We made it to Bangkok. We originally had 4 hours here, but because of delays and mechanical issues, we now only have 2, which is hopefully enough time to get something curry before we hop on our 8:30 flight to Colombo. Life with toddlers. Wait, there's another one. What? It turns out if you are transferring through Bangkok, you have to go through the CIQ lane. Whoopsie, almost missed that one. Our flight takes us into the capital city of Colombo, but it was very late, so I had already booked us a hotel near the airport with the intent of driving into Kandy, where we're staying the next morning.
Safety equipment is a still cooperation.
We made it to Sri Lanka. How hot is it out?
79. There's no way.
Maybe that's in Celsius.
It feels like 85, which still is hot.
I mean, this is at midnight or after midnight, so daytime's gonna be real hot. We made it to our tiny Sri Lankan room. Not as pictured. So not only do we get in late, but there's also no power, which means no AC and no fans. And if you know anything about Southern Asia, it is really hot there. Hello, a quick update. We are here yet at our hotel in the Colombo area where we were staying for the night before we head up over to Kandy and some of the mountain areas in Sri Lanka. It is very hot and congested here, as you can see from this quiet street that we're staying on. And it just got one level more interesting because the power went out. So I am extra glistening right now.
When we got up in the morning after pretty much having been sweating all night, which of course is not the worst thing, but we were excited to get on the road.
Here he is. Yep. He has a neck brace. He does. I hope that's not a bad sign. All right, Putties, you want to get in the taxi?
So we hailed a cab, and it was about 115 kilometers to Kandy, which Google Maps said was about a 2.5 hour drive, but it turned out to be closer to 4 hours. And that's because the roads are small and winding, and sure, so it made the trip a little bit longer. But the really cool part about this, the upside of this, is that it takes you through the middle of all these small towns along the way. So you get to really see like all of the energy and the hustle and bustle in each one of these places.
Several hours on the road, we made it to Kandy, and at this point I thought we were just meeting our host to let us into the Airbnb we had rented, but it turns out we actually rented a part of a family's home, which apparently is something pretty common in Sri Lanka and that we ended up doing later unknowingly. But thankfully the family that we rented with was really, really lovely.
We ended up really loving the family. The two brothers were great, just a wonderful help. And their mother was so kind and really, really good with the kids. It was really heartening to see all of them interact.
We started out our time here by seeing more of the city Kandy, which is really quite large. And of course, first order of business is always getting a proper meal.
After we had filled our bellies, we decided that it was time for a walk. So we walked around this lake that's in the center of Kandy, which is really nice, really beautiful, and it's just a great way to get around.
Has a very beautiful walking path along it, which is a great spot to get out the wiggles if you have little people, or of course for the adults to go for a little walk. And it eventually leads to what is one of the most sacred temples in all of Sri Lanka. We are always looking for beautiful spaces where our kids can run around, so we kind of get the best of both worlds. And Kandy happens to have a wonderful botanical garden, so we took a chance and took a stroll around there, and it ended up being one of our favorite things that we did while we were in Sri Lanka. Nana's got our map. Nana will keep us on track, right?
So we walked from right here, we walked all the way in here.
Oh, the Great Circle. Whoa.
And we went to there.
Cool. Okay, I'm following you.
Coolest thing that I think we saw there, among all of the other really cool things, is a tree, or the series of trees that point towards, what is it?
The equator.
The equator. And they look like a Dr. Seuss illustration or something like that. They're super fascinating. I've never seen a tree like that before in my life.
The reason we came to visit this part of Sri Lanka was to see the 8th wonder of the world, Sigiriya, which is an ancient kingdom located on the top of an impressively high rock fortress.
Sigiriya is about 2 hours north of Kandy, so we hopped in the car and made our way there, and we were just lucky enough along the way to witness this really beautiful parade.
As early as we could because traffic does get really thick in Sri Lanka, but also the main activity here is climbing to the top of this ancient kingdom. So you want to get there before things get hot in Sri Lanka, and that happens pretty quickly. Well, the walk up to the rock is sure dramatic. Let's see if we can hold back the sweat. Good thing Sienna likes to count. She's counting the steps for us. What's your guess for how many steps?
1 million.
Come on.
Or less.
How many steps?
I don't know. 40,000.
I was gonna guess 1,000. I hope it's not 40,000.
1,500.
Oh! I think I won by Price is Right rules.
Sigiriya is striking in that as you're approaching it, it juts out of the earth by, I don't know, it's really tall. What do you think it was?
It's
like 500 feet?
Yeah, 600 feet.
600 feet tall?
200 meters.
You approach it and it's almost this kind of imposing rock structure fortress. There are these pools, so it kind of seems like a causeway as you approach it. And you can see the remnants of foundations of what would have been a sprawling metropolis. You realize as soon as you see it why it is an 8th wonder of the world. It's breathtaking.
Well, the view is already starting to get better. The bad news is we haven't actually even started climbing the rock yet, and I'm sweating a lot. See, good views, but also not to the rock yet. There's the little path we walked up.
Yeah, and we made it all the way to the top.
And now we go down. 1,500 steps. Just a little windy. You do not want a stroller if you're coming here with kids. You want to either make sure your kids can climb or that you have an appropriately tight baby carrier to bring them out, because there's a very narrow set of stairs that basically hugs this plateau going up, and that's what you get to take up. There's no elevator, there's no accessible path, so come prepared for that. After our time in Kandy, we are heading inland, down to the mountains, and then ultimately to the coast.
We'll see you there.